Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failure. When we left off, we were wrapping up everything in Dimension 2. So we completed all of our Dimension 2 tasks, and then we jumped back here to Dimension 1, a place where we have accomplished nothing. We've done no tasks here in Dimension 1. So I will say that we are still rank 13. That rank carries over, but in every other way, we are poor here in Dimension 1. We have exactly 0 units of fuel. We have the weakest rocket. We have the worst backpack right there. We've got the slowest fuel scoop, the rusty fuel scoop. And if we take a look here, you'll see that we have no max altitude. We have not taken a single flight here in Dimension 1. So the first thing we need to do is buy ourselves a fuel scooper, a bot. And so we head again back towards the moon. The bot that we bought over in Dimension 2 does not follow us here, so we need to buy a new bot here. And just like in Dimension 2, 4 bot options. The weakest one is on the left and the strongest one is on the right. So this is the one we're going to go for. So let's go ahead and buy this thing here for 1,600 of our precious gems, the HandyBot. Okay, and then we'll head back over to our pad, and then we'll take a look at the rate at which the HandyBot is bringing back fuel. And so the first task, the pretty much the only task of this particular video is to generate enough cash to be able to buy all of the Dimension 1 fuel scoopers and backpacks and rockets. And we did one flight over in Dimension 2 to generate cash to buy all of the Dimension 2 equipment. And I think we flew with 33,000 fuel. But the things here in Dimension 1 are far more expensive and there are more of them. And so 33,000 fuel here is not going to do it for us. In fact, we don't even have a good cash generating rocket right now. We have the worst cash generating rocket. And so we need loads more fuel here to buy all of the equipment than we did in Dimension 1. And so just as a ballpark, let's see here, where is it? So as a ballpark figure for how much fuel we need in order to purchase all of the cache equipment and rockets here in Dimension 1, I estimate we need about 250,000 units of fuel. 250,000 units of fuel. And the bot that we just bought, the HandyBot, which is the best bot in Dimension number 1, only brings back 750 fuel about every 30 or 40 seconds or so. And so this bot is only like a quarter as fast as the bot that we were using in Dimension 2. And so not only do we need loads more fuel than we did in Dimension 2, but the bot here is way weaker than the one in Dimension 2. So if you decide that you're just going to sit here and let the bot go back and forth, and collect the 200, what did I say? 250,000 units of fuel on its own, I estimate that'll take about 5 hours, which is okay. You can let it do its thing for 5 hours. It won't complain, but you can't just let your game sit for 5 hours. The Roblox will kick you off after 20 minutes of activity. So if you choose to just let the bot do all of the fuel collecting for you, and you're going to wait until it's done its thing before you come back and play the game, set yourself a 15-minute alarm. You can take those 15 minutes and leave the computer or do something else on the computer while this game runs in the background. And then as soon as that alarm goes off, come back to the game and hit the space bar to jump one time, and that will restart your 20-minute inactivity countdown, and then set another 15-minute alarm. And just do that until you have gobs and gobs and gobs of fuel. I think about 250,000 is what you need. So, but there are ways to speed up this process, and I'm going to demonstrate both of those ways here in this playthrough. So if you are willing to spend some of your precious gems, then you can buy 1 or 2 more HandyBots, which will, either cut in half the amount of time it takes them to generate the 250,000 fuel, or cut into a third the amount of time it takes. And if you're willing to manually grind for fuel, then you can also help out and contribute to the speed at which your fuel accumulates here. And if you're willing to do both, then that'll be the shortest time it would take to generate all the cash that we need to buy everything that we want to buy. So I'm going to do both, even though I know I've been hoarding my gems like a squirrel preparing for the winter. I don't want to sit here for 5 hours, even if I can do other stuff. So I'm going to spend, this is so hard to do, 1,600 gems there, and another 1,600 gems there, And if I could buy more, I would, but the game only allows you to have a maximum of 3 bots in each dimension. And 1 bot over in dimension 1 was sufficient for us, but 3 here is still not enough. It's not even as good as the one we had over there. Okay, so I don't have a plan here. I don't have numbers written down for what the optimal idea is here, because it depends on which of the strategies I laid out that you're interested in doing. Like, are you going to have 1 bot or 2 or 3? Are you going to help manually collect fuel or not? And so I didn't make different strategies for all those options, but basically we're just going to do small launches and gradually buy the next best rocket, the next best fuel scooper, the next best backpack. So let's see. So this one gave us 374 bucks. What'll that buy us? I don't know. We just have to go in. Let's go check out the rocket shop first and see how much this one costs. 100. What's the next one? 1,000. Okay, so we buy the 100 here and we'll teleport to pad. And I don't know. Let's launch with 500 here. Just making up some numbers. But my idea here is that I always want to be launching with the best rocket I can afford. And let's see if we can afford anything in terms of backpacks and scoopers. Let's see, so this one is 10. Sure, we can buy that. Next one is 100. All right, we'll buy that one too. 500. Can't afford that one. Let's see what we've got going on here in the fuel scoop shop. We'll buy the $10 one. We'll buy the $100 one. Did I not launch that rocket before? I guess I didn't. I think I just reset it. Okay, so now we're going to launch that rocket. I'll start grinding for fuel, although I'm very weak right now, even though I've got, I guess, the third worst canister and the third worst scooper, but every little bit helps, I guess. And the point of this launch is to generate cash enough, hopefully, to buy that $1,000 rocket. And if we didn't have enough at the end of this launch, then we would just do another small launch. Looks like this one will work out okay. But definitely I want to upgrade. Let's see, so we'll drop off our measly 75 fuel. There you go. We're doing a help. And let's head over to the rocket shop and spend our money. In fact, here we actually can afford the $4,000 rocket. That's interesting. Okay, so just to be consistent, I'll buy the 1,000 and then launch it with hardly anything because we can almost afford the, I don't know, 100, 200. We can almost afford the 4,000 rocket right now. So just kind of making it up as we go along. I know it's not as regimented as most of this playthrough has been, but I never sat down and bothered to come up with an efficient way to do all of this cash grinding, the biggest cash grind of the whole thing, the whole playthrough. Okay, so this should bring us above the 4,000 to buy that next rocket. And we're grinding for fuel slowly, but every time we upgrade the backpack and fuel scooper, we'll grind a little bit better. Okay, so let's head over to the rocket shop. Guess we might as well just finish filling our 75 backpack. And we'll buy the $4,000 rocket. There it is, and we'll take a look. The next one is 10,000. So how much fuel will that take? No idea. Let's try 600, see how it goes. I always kind of like to be under in terms of how much fuel I put in, because every time you upgrade the rocket, it generates cash at a faster rate. Oh, I'm going to drop off my whopping 75. There we go. And so we head back and we just keep on grinding here. Again, focused on rockets first, a little bit different from our initial grind way back in the beginning of this playthrough, where I think our order was always upgrade the fuel scooper and then the backpack and then the rocket. You could do it in that same order if you wanted to. That would be okay. All right, so I think our next rocket purchase was 10,000. And so obviously we don't have enough here to do that. So let's do another, what was it, 600, I think? Oh, I gotta put this away first. 600 should allow us to afford the next rocket, which will give us faster cash generating opportunities. So we launch this one, and I'll be back when this launch has ended. Okay, so this launch is wrapping up, and I think we'll have enough money to afford the $10,000 rocket, and then some money left over. So we will buy the 10,000 rocket, And take a look at the price of the next one, 20,000. Okay, so we're going to head over and we're going to immediately launch because all these launches take time. I don't know how much. Let's put in 1,500, see what happens. But because we have extra money here, this 5,270, I think it's time to start spending some of that money to improve our manual grinding. So let's head over to the backpack shop first. And we'll just keep buying stuff. 500 there. What's this one? 1,000 there. What's the next one? 2,500. We could do that. And then the next one is 5,000. All right, so let's head over to the fuel scoop shop. Still got 1,270 bucks burning a hole in our pockets. So let's spend some of it. 500 on this one. Not quite for that one. So as we grind here with our new equipment, goes in faster, and we'll be dropping off more fuel with each trip back to our pad. And keeping an eye on the cash, I think our next rocket purchase was 20,000, so it looks like we're just going to get over that mark. That's pretty cool. And even though my thing here isn't full, what I'm doing is still not as efficient as the bots that we've hired. So I'm ready to just start the next launch to move this process along. At some point, I'll be contributing more, but right now it's pretty paltry what I'm doing. I didn't actually look and see what the next rocket costs, so I'll just make something up here. How about 2,500 fuel and see what that does for us. Okay, so we start this launch. And again, no real plan here, just gradually working our way up the ranks. And just taking a quick peek to see how much this next rocket will cost us. That will help guide me for the next launch because I don't know that this launch is going to do it. 50,000 is what we need. Yeah, definitely not going to have that for this go around, but that's okay. Let's see, maybe it's time to upgrade the fuel scoop. We've got a little bit more money. So 1,000, we can buy that one. And we can even buy the 2,000. That's pretty cool. And the next one is 5,000. So not quite there yet. And so now collecting fuel faster in a bigger and bigger backpack. And we just rinse and repeat. So I think I'm just gonna pause the video here. You've got the basic idea at this point. Just keep doing launches, making up fuel amounts. I like to always use a little bit too little fuel instead of too much, but that's just a minor optimization that I do. Backpack full, let's empty it. And then we are just shy of the 50,000 we need. So how about we just do another 500? Small little launch here just to generate the rest of the cash to buy that next rocket, which will make us cash faster when it launches. So I'll show this video, I'll show this launch and this purchase, and then I'll pause the video and come back. Hopefully we have enough. Getting a little bit nervous here, gang. We need, what, 3,700 or so? Get there. Okay, and the Prometheus is ours. So let's teleport and take a look at our cool new rocket. That's pretty nice. Don't know how much the next rocket costs, but surely we're going to have to do kind of a bigger launch here with this one. So I'll put 5,000 in and launch it. And then do some manual fuel grinding, and I will be back. Okay, and we're back. That 5,000 fuel launch is just wrapping up, and I think it was just enough to get us to our next rocket purchase, which is 100,000. So still collecting fuel until that launch ends. I've got my auto clicker happening here just to save my right wrist a little bit. And now we'll spend the 107,000 here on the Dual Atlas Plus. Very nice. Just while we're here, I'll look at the next two rockets. 500,000 here, 1.5 million here. I said only two rockets, but there's one more rocket over here, a ghastly $5,000 price tag. So my plan is to continue grinding enough cash to buy these two rockets. But as soon as I get this $1.5 million rocket, I'm going to stop launching in order to afford the next rocket, but instead I'm going to do launches of this thing in order to afford better fuel scoopers and backpacks and really try to help out with the fuel grind by doing my manual collecting to assist my 3 robots. So keep working your way up to the $1.5 million rocket and then change your focus from rocket upgrades to fuel scooper and backpack upgrades. So let's do our next launch here, and then we'll pause the video. So let's see, that launch was with 5,000. We've got 15,000 here. You can see that we're starting to kind of run low on fuel. Like so far, the fuel I've collected has hardly contributed. It's almost all the fuel collected so far has been by those 3 bots, but they are about to fail to keep up with the fuel needs that we have here. So heading back to work, oh, I'm going to drop off the massive 250 that I collected, and then getting back to work. Let's see, is there anything else we can buy here? How much is this next backpack? 2,500, 5,000. We can afford that. And there you go, got a bigger backpack. Okay, I will keep collecting and come right back. Okay, and we're back, and that 10,000 fuel launch is almost completed. The next rocket that we're after, still using my auto clicker here. The next rocket we're after is a $500,000 rocket, and this 10,000 launch got us about 60% of the way there. So you could do another 10,000, and that would get you another 300 grand, and you could afford the 500 grand rocket at that point. But I like to, like I mentioned, I like to kind of underestimate, and I'd rather spend any extra fuel that I have here, I'd rather save the fuel for my next rocket. I'd rather buy that next rocket as efficiently as I can and leave as much fuel as possible for for that $500,000 rocket that we're going to buy next. So I'll just launch with 7,000 and get back to my fuel grind here and be back hopefully with enough money to buy the 500,000 rocket. Okay, so this launch is ending. We'll drop off our full backpack. 300 fuel, still hardly contributing at all, but every little bit helps, I guess. And this launch brings us just over the 500 grand. That's great. So let's buy the 500,000 rocket. There it is. And the next one is a big one, $1.5 million. Let's do our next launch. We're going to need gobs of money, so I'm just going to launch with everything I have. 13,000 fuel is almost certainly not going to be enough, but it's the best we have right now, so we'll send everything out there. And let's start spending this money. We've got 18,000. I think our backpack is at a higher upgrade level than the fuel scooper. So let's start buying fuel scoopers here. Just kind of going back and forth between the two. So 5,000 for that one, 10,000 for that one. Next one is 20,000. We'll close there. And then collect fuel a little bit faster than we did before. And I will come back with you once this launch is ending. Okay, and we're back, still collecting fuel 300 at a time. So this launch is winding down here. I think we launched with about 13,000 fuel, and that got us, 575,000 or so in cash. And we need more. We need $1.5 million. And so, oops, can I put this away first? And so we're just going to launch with everything we have again, and it's still not going to be enough to get us to the $1.5 million launch, but we're just launching. At this point, our ability to gather fuel manually and with these 3 bots is not keeping up with the needs we have in terms of cash, because things are getting more and more expensive. What I could do though, let's see, I've got 574 grand. I guess I could spend some of that here and upgrade. Maybe we should do that. So 10 grand for this one, 20 grand for this one. Let's keep going. 50 grand for this one, 100 grand for that one. What's this one? Too much. So at some point, I think we might start to actually contribute to the fuel grind in a more significant way relative to the 3 bots we have, but we aren't there yet. So let's see if this helps. So 20 grand for that one, 50 grand for that one. I know we're spending a lot of the money that we were kind of earmarking for the $1.5 million rocket, but like I said, the bots are not keeping up with the fuel needs that we have, and neither am I. And so I just kind of feel like, well, might as well contribute a little bit more. So it might take us another few launches to gather the $1.5 million, because we just spent, I don't know, 400,000 bucks or something. But that's okay. So we'll contribute some more here. I have to move my character because you can see it stopped collecting. Well, I'll just stay there. The fuel does run out. These piles disappear, but then they restore, within 5 seconds or so. So my auto clicker is doing its thing right now, and I'll be back with you. And I'm not even going to come back when this launch ends because we're still not going to have enough money to buy the 1.5 million rocket. So I'm just going to launch again in a few moments with as much fuel as we have and eventually have a ton of money. I'll be back. Okay, and I'm back just briefly, and I'll just weigh in on whether or not I think it was a good idea for me to buy the upgraded backpack and fuel scooper, and I think it is. Because now roughly every 30, 40 seconds, I'm plopping in 1,500 fuel. And so that is maybe kind of comparable to, like I'm not that much slower than the three bots all put together. And so I think it was maybe a good use of our fuel to spend that cash to upgrade the backpack and the fuel scooper, because now we're actually contributing to this fuel grind in a way that we weren't when we were under equipped. So we've got about half the money we need in order to buy that $1.5 million rocket. And so I'll just keep grinding for fuel here. And I'm not going to spend any more money on upgrades until we purchase that $1.5 million rocket. I'll be back. Okay, and I'm back. Did another couple of launches of the $500,000 rocket. And now finally, we have just over the 1.5 million we needed for this very big rocket purchase. Just one rocket left. We now have the Sky Dragon. That's pretty sweet. One rocket left. The the $5 million monstrosity boosted Sky Dragon. But again, I'm going to encourage you not to use that one just yet. But instead, let's see. Might as well just put in this other 750. But instead, put all of the cash that you get. We're just going to keep doing launches, and we're going to put all of the cash towards backpack upgrades and fuel scoop upgrades. And I'm just adding fuel because why not? All that we have. Great. So we'll take a look at this one. I don't know. I'm not sure that person was trying to get a ride, but that is a beast right there. Okay, so I don't think we can afford anything else yet, but let me just take a look and see what the purchase prices will be after this launch. We're just going to put all the money for a while towards upgrading here. So 500 grand, a million, and 2 million. And then over here in the fuel scoop shop, let's see what level we're at. Okay, so we bought the 100 grand. Again, we need to buy the 500 grand and the million one. So 2 more fuel scoopers and 3 more backpacks. And so as soon as this launch ends, I will come back and start spending our money. In the meantime, I'll keep grinding myself. Okay, so this launch is winding down. Let's see how much cash we have coming in. I'll buy, okay, let's just buy the next best scoopers here. 500 grand, are you kidding me? All right, sorry about that. Teleport to pad and launch with everything we have. And then we'll have enough money to buy the next scooper. Fuel store empty. All right, whatever. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so this launch is ending. We'll teleport back to pad. And we'll spend this money momentarily, but let's go ahead and add all and just get our next launch going. Not sure if that worked. Did it work? It did work. Okay, we're launching. We might have some riders here. It's kind of difficult to get up into a seat here. You gotta like double jump. I think you might fall off if you're on the ladder. All right, so that person up there made it. The person on the ground. Oh, they made it too. Good job, folks. Okay, so now we've got some money. Let's spend it. So I think our next upgrade was going to be the fuel scooper. So let's buy this $500,000 fuel scooper. And there we go. And so I think it's just one fuel scooper left for $1 million, but then we still have 3 bags, 3 backpacks left to purchase. Oh, I forgot to drop off my fuel, 1,500. All right, not too bad. And I think that the next backpack was also 500,000, so we're not going to have it after this launch here. So again, as soon as one launch ends, I immediately launch again. So even though we're not full here on the backpack, we're just going to head right back to the pad and put everything we have in and launch again. Okay, and I will be back. Okay, and we're back, and our launch just ended. We're putting everything we have in here. Maybe we can get this last 750 in. Launching with whatever we have, it worked. And in this case now we have over 500 grand, which I think is our next backpack upgrade price. So wrapping up here, you can see the number of things to buy is dwindling, but of course they get more and more expensive. So still need 3 million bucks to finish that collection of purchases. And then I think this last one that we don't have here is another million, so that's 4 million. And then the big rocket is 5 million. So still grinding, but I think we're doing it just about as efficiently as we can. I'll be back with some more cash. Okay, and so we're back, just continuing the same thing we've been doing for a while now, but I will show you that, I've got my auto clicker, and so now finally, oops, forgot to unload my 2000. Let's plop that in there. I should have put that on the last launch. I will tell you I'm using my auto clicker here, and actually now for the first time, like it does take some time for this 2000 fuel backpack to fill up. It's pretty big in terms of capacity. And so I've got my auto clicker going, and for the first time now in a while, I'm actually walking away from my computer. It might take a good minute for this backpack to fill up. And even though that fuel pile just ran out there and there were, about 5 seconds where we were auto clicking but not gathering any fuel, it's fine with me. Good to get up and stretch a little bit, get some water or whatever, just kind of move yourself around. And then the nice thing is that as soon as the backpack is full, the computer will beep at you a bunch of times if you've got this auto clicker happening. So this is making the grind a little bit more humane on my body, which is good. And so just wanted to share that. I think it's still going to be a while before we're ready to make any more purchases because the remaining purchases are, I think, $1 million and $2 million and $5 million each. But we'll just keep on keeping on launching with all the fuel we have every time a launch concludes. I'll wait here and let this backpack fill up. And just because I am sitting here, I'll move my character a tiny bit because I see the pile is gone. And as soon as this pile is gone, I'll move my character back. And pretty quick, maybe it's more than a minute to fill up this 2000 backpack with the fuel that I have, or the equipment that I have. But, and I think we are contributing in some way by plopping 2000 there every, minute, minute and a half, something like that. So keep repeating the pattern here and heading back for more fuel. I'll be back. Okay, and we're back, and this launch is winding down, and that's going to bring us over the $1 million mark, which means it's time to buy something. So up to you what you buy. I'm gonna buy backpacks first. This $1 million backpack is looking pretty good because that means that I can use my auto clicker as I grind for fuel and step away and kind of take longer between flights. So that's my plan. There's different plans. I think we got people who are waiting for me to bring this rocket back and hop on. There we go. And I'll be kind here and wait for them each to grab a seat. This rocket moves quick, especially with our speed boosts, and it can be difficult to hop in one of those seats. So we'll wait for them to both be seated, because if they're not seated, I think that they will fall off as soon as this rocket takes off. So waiting for that one to go all the way up to the captain's seat. Or is it the pilot's seat? All right, they're in. Let's launch. Okay, and again, we'll put all the fuel we have, just trying to generate this cash. Okay, getting down to it, I will be back. Okay, and I'm back. More grinding, more fuel collecting, and we've got another $1 million, which I think gets us the last fuel scooper. Let's take a look. So all these are purchased, and $1 million for the last fuel scooper. Awesome. Okay, so just to rehash, now I think we've got all the fuel scoopers purchased, and there's still one big backpack left to buy, the most expensive one, 2 million bucks. We've already got the $1 million one. So one $2 million backpack to buy, and then one $5 million rocket to buy. So still grinding, but making steady progress here. And I will keep helping the fuel bots here. And again, I really am using an auto clicker and then just kind of going away from my computer for 2 minutes or so and coming back when it says backpack full, and I hear the computer beeping at me because the backpack is full. And here we're not collecting any fuel because we're just kind of collecting on the grass, but the fuel comes back so quickly that I don't even bother trying to monitor that. Just walk away from the computer for a few minutes and then come back. I can also point out that if you want to be nice to your fellow players here in this server, you can offer rides. Like our rocket is going higher than Rank Up Island on all of these flights now. Rank Up Island is at an altitude of 34,000 feet here in this dimension. So I did go up into the little text box right up here and I typed out, hey, launching for Rank Up Island every few minutes, hang out by my pad if you want to ride. And so I've gotten, 4 or 5 different folks to go up in my rocket over the last couple of launches. So always nice to help out fellow gamers, fellow astronauts. So I will be back with some more money. Okay, and I'm back. Took a little bit of a grind there to finally get the $2 million we need for our last backpack, but let's buy it. So you can see we've purchased the $1 million one. That's the one I've been using. And now the $2 million blue crystal backpack. Let's go. And so what that means is that the only purchase I have left to make in terms of cash purchases here in Dimension 1 is the $5 million rocket. It's going to be a grind. Currently launching at the moment, $540,000. And I'm just going to keep contributing to the fuel bots effort here. Again, with the bigger backpack now, I really can go AFK, with my auto clicker on. And even though it runs out of fuel every few seconds, it comes back quick enough. And so I will keep grinding for fuel and come back with $5 million plus in the bank. Okay, and we're back after quite a lengthy grind. My bots were working hard. I was working hard. Actually, it was my auto clicker that was working hard as I stepped away from the computer. It would take, 3 minutes or so for my 4,000 my 4,000 fuel capacity backpack to fill up. So I was just reading a book, waiting for the backpack full alarm to get to me. And now finally over 5 million bucks. Let's go spend it on the most expensive game item in the whole game. So moving all the way through, you can see all of these things say equip or equipped in this case. And now we will buy. Excellent. And take a look at this beast right here. That is the boosted Sky Dragon. Actually, that is somebody else's boosted Sky Dragon. That's our boosted Sky Dragon over there. Looking good. And it's the fastest rocket in the whole game. And we're going to take it up to Rank Up Island at the start of the next video. So winding down this grind session here. Again, we didn't need to do any of this manual fuel collecting. We could have just purchased one bot and then waited, I said 5 hours before. I actually think maybe 6 hours is a better estimate for how long it would take one bot to grind for all the fuel that was required. We ended up buying 3 bots and helping along the way. It's hard to know how much shorter we made the process by helping the whole time versus just letting 3 bots do all the fuel collecting on their own. I can tell you that in real time, this whole fuel collecting session took about, looks like 1 hour 40 minutes, 1 hour 40. So compared to 6 hours, obviously this is a lot less. But even but it's not just enough to say that we took less than 6 hours, because even if you let the bot grind for 250,000 fuel, you still have to spend a lot of time sitting here, doing a small launch with the worst rocket, buying the next worst rocket, doing a small launch, buying the next worst rocket after that, and working your way up through all the rockets. And it takes a lot of launches, even with the $1.5 million rocket, to generate the cash required for the real expensive items. So an hour 40 was the whole grind. I think, that's not optimal, but I think it's probably pretty close to the fastest you could do it We didn't have a particular strategy, but just kind of slowly worked our way up from nothing to everything. So that's a good place to end this video. There's still 1,000 gems left for us to collect and a quick look through the gem shops in both dimensions. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon for the next and final video.